Hello? Sweet, mic's working. Whenever I'm swimming like this, I kind of feel like I should have the Zora ability. It's kind of weird not to have it. Like from Majora's Mask. Whoa. Thank you, Midna. Hello. Welcome to the live stream. I've never done this before, so we'll see how it goes. Yeah. I haven't played through Twilight Princess in a little while. So don't make fun of me if I don't remember how to do the puzzles. I'm trying my best, okay? And I also don't own a webcam, so that's why you don't get to see my face. Nice. I started playing this because I got married relatively recently, and I've been showing my wife all of the Zelda games. She has to be indoctrinated. And so I've been playing through all of them just in like release order. Not 100%ing them or anything, but I just figured I might as well stream it while I'm going through them. Especially since my YouTube channel is doing just a little bit better than I expected it to. So far, I've been liking Twilight Princess. I don't know if it's a hot take. It's not really my favorite 3D Zelda game, but I like it more than most of the 2D Zelda games. So I mean, there's that. Hello, Gossipgeist. It's good to have you here. I saw that you were playing through Skyward Sword. I like that one a lot. Definitely really like the story of Skyward Sword, especially compared to some of the other Zelda games. It's got a lot going on. But some of the gameplay frustrates me. I was really glad they changed the control scheme in the HD remaster. Gosh, I genuinely just don't remember how to play through this game. Oh, I can keep going this way. Sweet. I think I prefer the Ocarina of Time Water Temple to the Twilight Princess Water Temple. Something about this one never... something about this one never just clicked for me. I think it's because I played it when I was really young. Before I was even 13. And, you know, game's rated T, so... it's my own fault. Skyward Sword is a pretty long game. Especially because when you start playing it, you're just kind of thinking, oh, like, you know, you do like the 3 areas, you go up, you do the 3 areas again, but then like you realize like how much stuff is outside of the dungeons in Skyward Sword. You really have a lot of good content in that game. I've never 100%ed Skyward Sword though. What? Never got around to the 100% on that one. Okay. I need to jump down there. I bet it is. That's another one that I played when I was pretty young. I was 10 when that one came out. And I've never had the longest attention span. But definitely was pretty bad when I was 10, so I kind of just like played through the game as quickly as I could, just like straight through. I really love the Demise fight in Skyward Sword. Every time I go through and fight Demise, I always feel really cool. And there definitely are parts of it that I had a lot of fun doing the side quests for. I really liked the side quest with, however you pronounce his name, is it Betrux, the monster guy? But yeah, I had a really fun time with the gratitude crystals and doing all of that. It's still one of my favorite moments in the series when you break the chandelier. I feel like I'm missing something really obvious. So obviously I need water to flow through here. Oh yeah, check that out, I can. Oh, that's locked. Okay. Let's find a key. Actually using my brain for a second here, instead of just wandering around aimlessly. It is, in fact, one of the games of all time. Thank you. This is one of the games that I haven't played through for a long time. I played through it during COVID, because, you know, I didn't really have anything else going on in my life. I just graduated. It's like, well, let's do something. And so I made a competition with all my friends to play through it. But, you know, COVID was really just a fever dream. So my top 5 Zelda games are Ocarina of Time, Twilight Princess, Skyward Sword, Minish Cap, and the Oracle games. Not in any particular order. That's a pretty good selection. I can agree with all of those, except for the Oracle games. Never been the biggest fan of the Oracle games, but I can see why you would like them. The puzzles in, gosh, which one is the one with the dungeon that's just like kind of nuts? Yeah, the puzzles in, I'm pretty sure it's Oracle of Ages, were just too much for my little brain to handle. Well, Parker, I am definitely playing this on 100% legit Nintendo hardware, so I can't help you there. You have to own the game to play it. I did not think it could jump that high. Okay. I think that if I were to rank my top 5 Zelda games in no particular order, I would definitely put Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask up there. I really love both of those games. I'm a big fan of the dungeon design in Ocarina of Time, and I am a really big fan of the world building in Majora's Mask. And then I'd also throw Link's Awakening in there. Always been a really big fan of Link's Awakening. And then Breath of the Wild's gotta be up there for me. What console is this one on again? So you can play it on 3 different consoles. You can play it on the GameCube, on the Wii, or on the Wii U. I recommend the HD remaster on the Wii U. I think that they did a really good job, and they made some quality of life changes. The only downside is you randomly will collect random stamps. And they can't do anything anymore because they shut down every aspect of the Miiverse. Same thing happened with the remaster of they did the same thing on the remaster of Wind Waker. Gosh, my brain took a second to process there. Oh, dang it. I keep forgetting to get the hidden skills. Yeah, Majora's Mask is a good one. I definitely recommend playing through it again. Whatever you do, don't play through the 3D version of it. Majora's Mask 3D is, like, it looks better. It's definitely prettier than Majora's Mask on the N64, but everything else is just a substantial downgrade. The movement just feels kind of janky. They keep interrupting everything that you do with like, oh, you did this thing. Let's keep track of this side quest for you. It's like I want to keep track of those myself. That's why I'm playing the game. So if you do play through it again, I would do the N64 version. It's definitely one of my favorites to go back to whenever I am doing lore videos, just because the world building on it is just like 10 out of 10. Dude, am I missing something? Whenever I see vines just like a little too high on a wall. Oh, never mind, that is totally what I'm supposed to do. I'm smart. I was gonna say, I always assume that it's time to start doing some Tears of the Kingdom cheese to get up that wall. Sweet. I think Twilight Princess probably would make the top 10 or like the top 5 list of me for me. One day I'll learn how to talk, but it's got some pacing issues that kind of just don't do it for me. But other than that, I think that it's a really good game. It's got solid dungeons, it has excellent combat. Out of all of the Link tunics, which one would I choose? Oh, there you are. Oh, yeah, that was effective. So I actually really, if we're going like classic tunics and we're not including like Breath of the Wild outfits, I think the magic armor in Twilight Princess is my favorite look. Just makes me feel cool. I do really like the Zora's armor in Twilight Princess. It's a really good one. When I was younger, I went to Comic-Con with my sister, and we ran into a guy who had a cosplay for the Zora armor from Twilight Princess, and it was really cool. They had all of the individual scales on it, the whole thing. They had like the same textures. It just looked really realistic, which is something that's kind of hard to pull off with cosplay. I find that a lot of the time cosplay looks, you know, disingenuine, but this guy pulled it off. They did a really good job. And I can't find the picture anywhere. I can find the picture that we have with a bunch of the other Zelda cosplayers that we found there, but we can't find the one with the Zora armor. It makes me really sad. Oh, thanks for that. I'm really excited to see my channel starting to pop off a little bit. If you were to tell 17-year-old me, like, hey, one day you're gonna have a moderately successful YouTube channel, I definitely wouldn't have believed you. In fact, if you had told me that I was gonna have 1,000 subscribers at the beginning of this month, I would have been like, nah, man, that's like a That's like a next year goal. I've been having a lot of time, especially with shorts. There's something that you can kind of bang out really quick. It takes like 2 hours to edit a short, and like another hour to write and record it. But that's still a lot less time than a full video. That's true. Twilight Princess Link definitely has drip. I think the Twilight Princess Link is the best looking Link in the series. I think that you have some really cool costume options in Breath of the Wild, but I think Twilight Princess Link just, you know, makes you feel cool playing him. Yeah, I was talking to my wife about it. I was like, hey, like, you know, I really want to put an effort in. What did I just get out of that chest? I was not paying attention. Oh well, if it's important, I'll figure it out later. But yeah, I was talking to my wife about starting the YouTube channel, and I was like, you know, I'm gonna try by the end of next year to get 1,000 subscribers, and I think that if I'm consistent and I just like learn how to edit videos better, I'll be able to get there. But apparently people actually enjoyed my content, which I'm happy about. Oh, thank you for the update on what I got out of that treasure chest. I was not paying attention. Man, I got ADHD out the wazoo. I have so many things inputting in my brain right now. Couldn't tell you what's going on. Yeah, shorts are a hard one, Parker. Just because, you know, like, they do help you get traction and get you more views. They almost feel fake. Like, they don't feel like real views. Where it's like, well, yeah, I got like 200,000 views on a video, but like, it was a short. So like, that doesn't even count. And I can see like my subscriber count go up and down based off of it. And if you post just like one short that's a little different, a little off-brand, you can lose a lot of subscribers really fast because they're just in like their little monkey brain while they're going through it. Yeah, I remember. So yeah, I think that they're ultimately worth it just to get like views to your channel, just get your name out there, but I think that the long form videos are what are gonna matter in the long run. See what I did there? I'm so funny. Okay, we're making progress. I'm curious to see what they do for the next Zelda game. That's not the direction I want to go. Just because, you know, like you have these super linear dungeons, and they're a lot of fun and fun to go through, and you can have like some semi-linear dungeons like the Water Temple or the Forest Temple from Ocarina of Time. And of course, like they changed that in Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, but it seems like they've gotten their fill on exactly what they wanted to do with that, so I wonder if they're gonna stick to that formula because it was successful. or if they're gonna swap, pull a hard 180, try and change what they've been doing. Searching Zelda content earlier, and this was in my recommended. It's like the internet knows. I gotta tell you, man, it does. The internet definitely knows. Trying to think of any weird ones I've gotten. Yeah, I can't think of any immediately. Yeah, nailing down video ideas is also kind of hard for me. Sometimes I'll write out a script and I'll take a look at it and I'm like, I'm not satisfied with it. I'm like, oh, I could do better though. Like, this isn't my best content. But what I've started doing is I started posting polls on my channel, and I let people vote for what content they want to see for the next week. So if I like come up with a video idea and I'm like, oh, this is a bad video idea, my subscribers basically tell me if it's a bad idea or not. And so it's very helpful, for me at least. Am I missing? Let's see, I want to get back to that room with the moving platforms. Which room is that? Oh wait, I could have just hopped down. Okay, I remember where I am. I almost feel like they try to do a traditional Zelda game. This Switch's successor console. They'll just go bare and open. Yeah. Oh, I started reading one comment and then started reading another comment. I was like, you know, like, all the respect, but that comment didn't make any sense. Because I don't know how to read. I almost feel like trying to do a traditional Zelda game that Switch's the successor console. They'll just go all out on exploration, but keep it linear. Yeah, I kind of talked about this in one of my videos, but I'll go into it again here in... so I was talking about how A Link to the Past has a really good formula where, like, the world's completely open. You can go out and do anything in pretty much whatever order, and A Link Between Worlds did a good job with this. But I'd love to see that same concept with a 3D Zelda game. Yeah, we have talked a little bit about the new video ideas. Yeah, a true Ocarina of Time remake would be super fun. Like, gosh, dang it. It'd be really cool to watch a Final Fantasy VII version of, like, type remake for Ocarina of Time. I think that'd be super cool. I think it'd be really fun if they did that. Because you already have a bunch of these. You already have a bunch of the, like, Unreal Engine 5 remakes that people are putting out, which are really cool to look at, really pretty, and you see what's, like, capable, like what they're capable of in a remake. They just haven't gotten around to it yet. So I think it'd be really cool to watch something like that. And Wiz, I 100% agree with you. Comments never make any sense to me. When I first started my YouTube channel, I made the mistake of replying to every single comment that I got, and I think it helped YouTube understand, like, hey, this is a real channel. But it took a little bit of a toll on my brain doing that. Just don't partition an Ocarina of Time remake if you do make it Nintendo. Yeah. One of the things that I actually really liked about the 3DS remake is like it was very true to the original version, and I really respected that, and I enjoyed it a lot. But I would like to see them venture out and try new things. Oh yeah, like when I say Final Fantasy VII remake, I'm with you. If they did like, oh, we'll do parts 1 through 5, I wouldn't be able to handle that. That'd be the dumbest thing in the whole world. I just mean like change like the overworld a bunch, completely redo textures, maybe even like add some more cinematic cutscenes. Maybe like tweak the dungeons a little bit. I'd love to see stuff like that, but I don't want like an actual Final Fantasy VII remake because they just did not deliver on that. But yeah, Wiz, I'm with you. Like, you just kind of read through the comments, and there are great comments, and I love reading through comments of people who like have constructive criticism or are just like showing support for the channel, or who are sharing like their opinion. I think those are great, but the ones that drive me crazy are the ones where people just like are confidently wrong and they just like spew off false information, and it's like you can't argue with them in the comments because like it's not gonna do anything. It's like, oh, but you're not right. Oof. This reminds me of that room in Ocarina of Time. Oh! Vortex room in Ocarina of Time is what I was trying to say. Never was a fan of the Vortex room in the Water Temple. Always stresses me out. I don't know how I feel about the underwater combat in Twilight Princess. Like, I don't know if I prefer having underwater combat or not. Uh-oh. Yeah. You're totally right with that. I think the closest they've ever... Well, they did a remake for Link's Awakening, so that gives me hope that they might do a similar thing for the other 2D Zelda games. Like, if they did a remake of Minish Cap, that would be the greatest thing ever. I love Minish Cap, but seeing it in all its HD glory would be wonderful, in my opinion. But yeah, you're totally right. There's been a couple of times where I've indulged myself, given into the impulsive thoughts, and responded to comments that were really dumb, and it usually ends up in me having to ban someone from my comments section because they say some egregious stuff. You just get those internet trolls. But once I went on to some subreddits and started complaining about it and found out that everyone struggles with this when they're making a YouTube channel, I was like, oh, okay. So they're not singling me out. Made me feel better. Not suffering alone. Playing Minish Cap right now. Minish Cap's a really fun one. I wish it was longer. It just kind of like ends really quickly. I wish that there were more dungeons in it because Capcom just did a great job on that. I also really loved just like how much character Minish Cap had. It really did feel like its own unique game, and it didn't feel like Capcom was trying to just like copy and paste another Zelda game. I've always found it kind of goofy when the bosses you fight aren't like a cursed version of something, they're just straight up an animal that exists in the Zelda universe, and Link just goes in and kills it. I'm trying to think of other examples of that. This is definitely one of them. I can't think of other options, but I definitely know that there are other instances of that happening. Which Zelda game would you consider the Dark Souls of Zelda games? Well, when you say Dark Souls, are you talking like brutally difficult combat, or are you talking about like the atmosphere? Because if it's like just the combat of Dark Souls, I think that The Adventure of Link is a really good example, because it's just like frick you to the player, because the combat is brutally difficult, and on top of a really hard combat, it has the audacity to tell you to start the game over. Start from like the beginning palace anytime you die, which definitely gives me Dark Souls vibes. That's the type of thing Dark Souls would do. So that one, as far as like gameplay goes, I would do that one. That being said, when I was playing through Tears of the Kingdom and I ran into a Gleeok for the first time, it felt like a Dark Souls boss. Because you start wailing away at it and like you do like 1/16 of its health bar and damage. And it's like, frick, now what? So that one definitely gave me Dark Souls vibes. As well. Let's see, I've only played Ocarina of Time, but it's one of my favorite games. Yeah, if you really liked Ocarina of Time, I think that Majora's Mask is just the natural extension of that. Because it has a lot of the same aspects as Ocarina of Time, but it's like its own twist. Yeah, I'm with you on the comments there. Internet trolls are going to be internet trolls, and there's not much you can do about that. But yeah, definitely as far as like the Dark Souls goes for the Zelda games, I think the Gleeok was the one that made me feel the most like, oh crap, this is a Dark Souls boss. I haven't played many Dark Souls games, and I've never beaten one because I'm just not good enough at video games to do that. But I remember on my playthrough of Elden Ring coming up to a boss, and just like you start hitting it, and it's like, frick, I'm doing no damage to this. Yeah, Majora's Mask can be kind of hard for a first playthrough, but to give you hope, that was one of the first Zelda games that I played through. I would always play through the Zelda games with my brothers, and we'd have a really good time with that. But I was able to beat Majora's Mask when I was pretty young. So it's hard, but I think it's the fun kind of hard and not the bullcrap kind of hard. So I definitely recommend it. I will say, if you are going to play through Majora's Mask, I 100% recommend you play through the game 100%. There's just so much character throughout the entire game, and they do such a good job of making you feel like these NPCs are actually people and not just like means to an end. So I recommend 100%ing it if you do play through Majora's Mask anytime soon. Yeah, I do need a Dark Souls coach. I'm real bad. Real bad at Dark Souls. Say something? Did I just screw myself over? No, I did not. Yeah, the thing that I love most about Majora's Mask is the side quests. When you have games like Tears of the Kingdom or Breath of the Wild, you have a lot of side quests, but they all kind of just blur together, you know? Where you don't really know what you're doing or why, and you feel absolutely no emotion once you do accomplish the goal. But in Majora's Mask, when you complete a side quest, you feel like you've helped a person, and then you get to see the results of your actions, and it's really cool. It's much more fulfilling than a lot of side quests. Well, if you were to find me, if you ever want to do any Souls shenanigans, yeah, I'll have to hit you up. I might try and get you to coach me through Elden Ring. Because I played Hollow Knight, and I know that that has a similar kind of combat, like, difficulty spike. But once I got good at the game, it got really fun. So I think that Elden Ring would be similar. You'll have to give me a little bit of a refresher on which one Sekiro is. It sounds so familiar, but I can't remember exactly what it's in reference to. I agree, Souls games are mean. To be fair, though, the only games that have actually gotten me to rage quit have been Zelda games. But I think that has a lot more to do with maturity than actual difficulty. One-armed shinobi. Gosh, I feel like I'm very uncultured. So it is a Soulsborne. We were just talking about that. You missed it. Build so it's easier to just learn combat, and story it's easier to digest. That's fair. I feel like you were playing through those a little backward. But to be fair, I don't think I've ever played through a series in the quote-unquote correct order. So, you know, you do you, man. I feel like I'm missing something. Yeah, I agree with you. I'm a pretty stubborn human being. And so if I like don't get a game, I don't like look up tutorials. I don't try and change my strategy or like figure out how to like optimize gameplay. I just like beat my head against the brick wall until something happens. Yeah, that checks out. Because Dark Souls, if I'm not mistaken, and I am talking about something that I don't know very much about, so there's a good chance that I am mistaken, but from what I understand, some of the earlier games are hard because of the way that they're set up, and not necessarily difficult because they were necessarily designed to be that way. And so starting with some of the later games could help. Again, talking out of my butt, but here we are. Hey, does anyone know what I just pulled out of that chest? I got distracted again. Yo, how did I get down here? More importantly, how do I get out of here? Oh. I didn't realize I could use the claw shot on top of the world. It is just rupees. It's like 90% of the rewards in Twilight Princess is just more rupees. Thank you for the input though, because I definitely forgot. Thank you, Parker, for ratifying what I said. It makes me feel like I'm not completely helpless. Thank you for confirming rupees. See, this is a little bit harder for me to do. I should have picked a different game to stream first. I was just already halfway through this one. But I actually have to like think about what I'm doing when I play Twilight Princess, just because it's been so long. A bunch of the other Zelda games I could just autopilot through. So thanks for help from the chat. Makes it a lot easier to have a team to support me. I'm also trying to just stay engaged in conversation. Otherwise, you can just pull up a no commentary YouTube video and get the same experience. And I gotta say, I very much appreciate the no commentary YouTubers out there. They are what supply like 70% of the clips I use in my videos. Very small percent of the clips are my own gameplay. So shout out to all of them. Hopefully at some point I have enough gameplay that I can pull from that I can use just my own gameplay for all of my videos. But until then, here we are. Curious to hear in the chat what some of your guys' favorite Zelda games are. Which ones you guys had fun playing through. Okay, we got a compass. Sweet. Those type of like little platforming challenges in Zelda games, for some reason, I'm not always very good at them, and there have been way too many instances of me jumping to hit one of those. and just missing and then falling all the way back down. Wiz, I 100% have to agree with you. Less on the Skyward Sword one, even though I do think Skyward Sword is a good game, but definitely on Wind Waker one. I just played through that one with my wife and showed her Wind Waker, and I forgot just how much fun it is. They did such a good job with all the dungeons in that one. There was a point, if you go back like 1 or 2 years on my YouTube channel, when I first experimented with uploading at all, where I was like, oh, I'm gonna play through all of the Zelda games. Excuse me? What? Okay. Or I was like, I'm gonna play through all of the Zelda games 100%. But I got distracted after I played through A Link to the Past 100%. That was so weird. I didn't know. How did the... It's spinning this way. How did... Alright, cool. Sweet, we got spinning little platforms. Okay, now the real question. Okay, I want to go that way. Yeah. I'm with you on the nostalgia goggles for Wind Waker. My family got a GameCube as our first ever console. See, that's exactly the type of platforming challenges that I was talking about that I'm just absolutely trash at. But yeah, my family got a GameCube as our first ever console. And so I think that as far as like holding a controller in my hand and playing a video game, there's a really good chance that Wind Waker was my first one. But I was still pretty young, so it's hard to tell for sure. I think A Link to the Past, it took me so long to play through that game. And by so long, I don't mean like my actual playthrough, I mean just like getting around to playing it. And I don't know why, I would just like start it up and then get bored, like one dungeon in. But eventually when I was doing my 100% playthroughs of all the Zelda games, I was like, okay, like I can't not play A Link to the Past. And I played through it 100% right after playing through the first 2 Zelda games 100%, and I was like, oh my goodness, I get it. I understand why people love this game so much. Cause like if you have the juxtaposition of playing the first 2 Zelda games and then suddenly you play A Link to the Past, it's the best game that it would have been like the best game that I've ever seen. Now, comparing it to like all of the modern Zelda games, I think that there are Zelda games that do a better job than A Link to the Past. But for its time, it was incredible. And I think it still holds up even outside of its time. Yeah, I think that that's a similar experience that a lot of people had, Parker, because like everyone had a Wii. Like, you had to have a Wii. Like, even my wife, who doesn't really play video games, she's like, yeah, I played the Wii. Everyone played the Wii. I do think the fact that your second console was an N64 is very interesting, though. I don't think that that was a very similar experience that many people had. All of my experience playing the N64 has been solely through emulation. So I haven't... I've held like an N64 controller in my hand maybe twice. My brother got one when he was in high school, and I was still pretty young, and he let me play it once or twice, but he was scared I was going to break it, and given the state that our GameCube controllers were in, I don't blame him for thinking that. But yeah, Ocarina of Time's always a good one to start on. Four Swords... I've never played Four Swords with another human being. I've only played the Anniversary Edition that they released for the DS. I think it'd be really fun to do a multiplayer Four Swords. I think that they're gonna do it on the virtual consoles they have on the Switch, because they have the Game Boy Advance and they have online play for those. So like, what's stopping them, you know? I went the wrong way. I backed it a fool. That checks out. That makes sense. Dude, I don't understand how speedrunners can speedrun a Zelda game, or any game for that matter, and still interact with the chat. That's wild. I get a Sega Genesis Dreamcast, but the first console I remember playing was the N64, followed by the GameCube. That's a good selection of video game consoles. You had a good childhood. Yeah, I think that most families have that thing where it's like, this is dad's console. Do not touch dad's console if you value your life. My dad never was into video games. And my mom has a fiery hatred of video games. She's not a fan of video games. She was a social worker for a long time. She's like, I've seen what happens to people that play video games. I'm like, okay, well, you also were raising me, and I don't act the same way as some of the people you've seen. So I think that you might need to get a larger sample size. I don't know. It was funny. She is a lot less against video games now than she was growing up. In fact, now that I'm like making YouTube videos, she thinks it's really cool. I mean, she helped me with my Zelda timeline video, which was really sweet of her. That's one of my favorite videos that I've made up to this point, just because it was really fun to do that with my mom. Yeah, you're probably right with speedrunners. I've never tried to speedrun a game, but there's definitely a lot of things that like I could do and have a full conversation with someone. Like play the piano, for example. Like that just becomes muscle memory. But yeah, playing through a Zelda game especially one that it's been a while, while keeping up on chat and remembering what's in the treasure chests. Impossible. That is not my hook shot. Should put those bombs away before I use all of that. Yeah, that's fair. But you have to remember, when I was being raised, like, the Wii was the console. And, like, she saw the video games that I played. She's like, oh man, Wii Sports is gonna corrupt this generation. I think that her mind started changing because I was the esports president when I was in high school. So I ran esports for my school, which was really fun. And I played Super Smash Bros. Competitively. And so when she saw me like actually interacting with people, like building really cool relationships with a bunch of people based off of video games, that's I think when she was like, oh, like video games are actually pretty cool. That's when her mind kind of changed, and she saw that like I was using I was getting real world experience as far as like organizing tournaments and reaching out to like high schools to get stuff done. PlayStation 1 was a good console. My first PlayStation console was a PlayStation 4, and that's super cool to hear that you did competitive Smash Bros. I was never the greatest at Smash Bros. I was basically just like the forever TO for the tournaments. So, like, my friends were always happy to have me around, but I was by far, well, not by far, but by a notable margin, the worst player on our, like, varsity team. Yeah, I was born not too long ago. I'm only 21. So my experience growing up definitely very different from those born just a few years before me. Yeah, I'm with you, Colin. Smash Bros. Was really stress relieving. It was just like, it was so nice to like have something that I could just go and have fun with. Because, you know, I was doing a bunch of other things in high school. I was like on the speech and debate team. I was in like all these AP classes, and everything was just like so in my face all the time. It was so nice to just like go in after school and just like play Smash Bros with my buddies for a couple hours. And then all I had to do in turn was just try and like run some tournaments. Yeah, Wiz, you're completely right. I would like go up to the best players in the arena at the tournaments all the time, and I was like, hey, I want you to play me. I know you're gonna trash me, but I want you to tell me how you trashed me. I want you to tell me why you did it. And so that's how I got better, is by just losing egregiously. Yeah, we weren't, when I started esports at my school, we weren't allowed to do Overwatch or like Counter-Strike at first because they were like, that's not rated E. We can't sponsor that. Oh, also the 21 and married comment. Look, man, like, I'm just as surprised as everyone else that I'm married. I just found the right person immediately. It was crazy. We both have chronic migraines, and we just bonded really quickly over that. It's really nice to have someone that suffers with you. Dude, being a glitch hunter sounds really cool. I've always thought that it was interesting when I was younger and I saw like all the glitches that speedrunners were doing. I was like, do they just like dink around on the game until they figure out how to do this stuff? But then I learned what glitch hunting was, and I was like, oh yeah, that makes way more sense. You just have people that understand the game. That was embarrassing. You just have people that understand the game do stuff that's probably going to result in glitchy stuff. And I'm with you. As like a competitive Smash Bros player, I can understand 100% toxic online community. In fact, scratch the online part, just the toxic community part. That was a really funny joke. Wiz. Yeah, I mean, being married is, it has positives and some turbulence. I had never really had to live with a girl for that long before, and so like there were definitely some adjustments to make when we moved in together. Because like I have one sister and she's way older than me, but you know, you figure stuff out. As long as you both love each other and you're willing to put the effort in, you can make any relationship work. Oh yeah, what am I talking about? I got so distracted for a second there. Come here. The Gale Boomerang glitch, super fun. Twilight Princess speedruns are really fun to watch. Because like in most other speedruns, I feel like for Zelda games, you just immediately go into just like absolute chaos destruction of the game, to the point where it's like what's even going on anymore. But Twilight Princess, I feel like there's so much of the game that's still intact that watching speedruns is fun, because it's a lot more movement based than just like crazy glitch based. However, I think everyone has seen the low percent speedrun video by now, and I think that it's the funniest thing in the whole world. That Link just stares at a rupee for several hours, and it's a speedrun. Yeah, Parker, I'm with you on that. Like, as much as I loved playing Smash Bros. Competitively when I was in high school, once I graduated and like started living my life and like getting actual real world experiences, like I still love playing the game, but I just don't have any desire to do it competitively anymore. I would much rather just like chill with some homies and play it casually. Wiz, we'll have to hop online sometime and see who's the better Smash Bros. Player. I think that could be fun. It's probably not me. I'll give you that right now. I lose frequently to people that never played it competitively. Yeah, I'm trying to think if I have any multiplayer games installed. I mean, if you count Mario Wonder, I do. Definitely Smash Bros. Always have that, except for I have a hard copy. That was the first game I ever pre-ordered. Oh, oof. My Smash Bros. Main is... It varies. When I was doing competitive, my main was Joker. Because I was a tryhard. But once I kind of stopped doing it so seriously, my main changed to Incineroar. Because he's just dumb fun. It's really satisfying to hit combos with Incineroar. Yeah, Twilight Princess is a long one to speedrun. I wonder if they're ever going to figure out a barrier skip for Twilight Princess. The same way they did for Wind Waker. That is just like game breaking for the speedruns. Because everyone thought that it was impossible in Wind Waker for a really long time until someone was like, nuh-uh. And I know that they have a bunch of glitch hunters working on it. But I don't know. Wait, no, Link. Dang it. Alright, I actually have to pay attention to what I'm doing for a second, otherwise I'm gonna die here. There we go. See, it seems like this that make Twilight Princess cool, where I'm like, yeah, I just did that. I'm pretty cool. Twilight Princess is definitely a bit edgier than the others of the games. Yeah, I've seen people cracked out of their mind with Incineroar. I'm not one of them. I just kind of goof around until I get stuff. But every so often, you just get that rage built up. You're at like 150%, and you get your rage counter. And it just like, you can end people's stocks at 0%, and it makes me feel so powerful. And it didn't take any skill. I just like landed a command grab with my over B. But it makes me feel cool, and that's what's important. Bruh. Yeah, I'm kind of with you with the barrier skip on Twilight Princess. I think that Wind Waker was kind of the same way, just because people thought it was impossible for so long, where people are just like, as soon as we figure this out, like the speed run is way shorter. But, oh, sorry, Gossip Geist. In response to your comment, we're talking about in the castle. There's like, after you clear all of the Twilight out of the world, you get the big old barrier around the castle, which is like, as soon as you get there, that's the end of the game, just like Wind Waker. But it's a lot better built of a wall than Wind Waker's is, and so there's not like a corner or like a few pixels that you can squeeze your way through with some clever movement. And so they've been trying a bunch of stuff with it. I watched a video on it recently, and I thought it was interesting, just because I'm also in school right now for computer science, so when I see stuff like that, I'm like, oh, that's really cool. And then I pretend like I'm educating myself when really I'm just entertaining myself. But yeah, I think that at some point it will be possible. But it could be a very long time. Hey, we're almost to one of my favorite songs in The Legend of Zelda. We just need to watch Midna get murdered real quick. Yes, I do want to save. You know, a computer science degree, or it's like one of those things where I don't know if I want to write code for the rest of my life, but I know that I'll never regret learning how to write code because it's just such a useful skill, you know. But I'm having a fun time. It feels like a little puzzle for me. It is a lot sometimes to like work full time, do school part time, do YouTube part time. But there's nothing that I'm doing that I don't like. But sometimes I get tired. But I love it all. I just wish that I had like an extra 4 hours in the day to sleep. That'd be nice. Dude, I'm not worried about AI. I am very grateful for AI. I don't know if I would have passed some of my classes without AI. Because like I'll feed it my code and I'm like, okay, what's wrong with this? And it's like, okay, so here are the things you got wrong. Yeah, you're right. I don't know if I'll ever be good enough to be the guy that writes AI. I don't know. From what I understand, AI isn't too complicated. It just needs a lot of resources to work. But that's from what I understand. And I don't understand that much. So, you know, there we go. I'm with you on explaining coding, though. So when I was in high school, when I was in junior high, my sister got married. And her husband, who's one of my favorite people in the world, he has a computer science degree, and he's a developer full-time, like a stack developer. And he knew that I was interested in it, and so he'd like show me the projects that he was working on all the time, and the best I could do was just like smile and nod. I was like, that's interesting, that's cool, I think. But now that I'm like in like knee deep in code and I'm like writing all my own stuff, it's really, now when he talks about code, I'm like, whoa, that's so cool. I would have never thought to do it that way. Oh, that's awesome. It's like a completely different world now that I've actually written my own code. It's like, because like before he would like try and explain an if function, and I was like, what are you talking about? And then you start computer science and it's like one of the first things they teach you. It's a huge L for Midna. Uh-oh, her colors are inverted. That can't be good. Game development's really cool. One of the things that I like about game development, because I have a couple friends that are into it, it can be as complicated as you want it to be. So there's software out there that gives you like all the building blocks to make a game, and just like makes it a brainless process. But then there's a lot of programs that let you write your own engine, like let you make adjustments to the game. And those are really cool too. Obviously, I haven't really used, well, maybe not obviously, but I haven't used the second kind very much. Makes the first free camera mod for Tears of the Kingdom. Not that good at writing code. Maybe Christian can help you out with that. Sounds like he's a little bit more, well-versed in that realm. I still have years left on my degree. You gotta love Midna's Lament. Oh, Alexa just gave me a reminder. I didn't hear what it was though, so I don't know how useful of a reminder that is. Okay, let's sneak into this. Nothing bad could possibly happen. Aw, dang. Well, the nice thing about code is like it's not the hardest thing to teach yourself how to do new things, especially if you have like a base understanding. I can't tell you how many times though I've gotten an assignment and I just like couldn't figure out exactly what the teacher wanted me to do, so I just like threw some spaghetti code out there and got like 60%. Like, oh, that's good enough. I'll take it. 60% for not really trying. Yeah, AI is a really interesting one, especially once you start getting into like intellectual property. Just because, like, what qualifies as something that someone created if you're using AI? I've always been a little miffed about like how IP is treated in the first place. Like, come on, Nintendo, I'll buy your games, but at least like make them available for me to buy. Or the new community guidelines they put out for competitive play. Oh my goodness, Nintendo needs to chill, dude. I'll have to check out Code Academy the next time I get stuck. I usually just pull out good old Chat GPT and I'm like, okay, well, I don't even know what they're trying to get me to do. Wanna help me out with that? Ooh. That was almost awkward. Hey, check it out. I made it to this guy. He was in my most recent short. I made a huge mistake on my most recent short, to the point where I was almost like, should I try and remake it? Where I was like, well, technically you get infinite rupees in this game, because if you get all the pose, then the cat just will continually give you a silver rupee every single time you ask for one. But then someone was like in the comments, Well, you can also do that in Ocarina of Time. I was like, oh, crap, you're right. Here, 1 second. I don't know if I just did a weird thing. Sorry, my OBS freaked out for a second there. So the new community guidelines that Nintendo put out, strongly put a huge limit on the number of people that can be at tournaments, cash prizes for tournaments. They just put like an absurd amount of limitations on who's allowed to do what and when. To the point where it's like, why? Like, why are you doing that? Like, the community loves these games. Just let them play them. What are you doing? Nintendo as a company just like frustrates me frequently. The developers, though, you gotta love the developers in Nintendo. They make some good stuff. Well, it was good having you in chat. I'm probably gonna end stream just as soon as I get to Zelda here anyway. It was definitely good to have you in chat. Good to talk. You know this song, Colin. You know it. Can I get up here? That looked way too high to climb. It's Midna's Lament, just in case you're being serious, but I'm pretty sure you've said multiple times that this is one of your favorite songs. Kind of a bummer that the monster song interrupted, though. See, I pay attention. I'm a good friend. Alright, Zelda, you gotta help me out here. Oh, frick. Did not see that coming. Ah! Bruh. Dude, I'm telling you, these frickin' ropes, these dumb little, platforming challenges, every time they get me. I was actually planning on making a Zelda OST tier list, or at least a top 10 video. That was going to be one of the next options I put out on my polls. But for now, we're learning about God. well, all of the gods in The Legend of Zelda. Apparently people really were really wanting to learn about that. And I was like, okay, let's learn about it. And then I had to learn about it too. Got him. That was all me. I did not know as much about the Zelda pantheon as I thought I did. Trying to decide if I want to record these VODs. I can put them on like a second channel for people to watch, or at least as for like archive's sake. I think I will. Whoa! That does not go anywhere. I can't see what your comment says, Colin, but I assume it says 69, because that seems pretty on brand. But just the number on that comment is covered up by this little, oh, there it is. Yep, you said 69. It was covered up by a little heart icon. Yeah, I think that's what I'll do. Well, like, there's so many times that I need like a very specific clip, and if I just like go through and 100% the video games and like get all the dialogue I need, then I don't have to like spend so long on YouTube trying to find just the right clip for it. All right, as soon as we talk to Zelda, get this figured out, I'm gonna end the stream. It was good having you all here tonight. It was very fun. I didn't think I would get as much conversation as I did. I'm used to streaming to 0 viewers when I was trying to do it on Twitch like a year ago. So it was good to have you all here. Zorlda. You know, as much as I respect Zelda in this game, she doesn't do a whole lot. She just kind of is like, Link, save Hyrule, and then dies, but then undies. The Sword of Evil's Bane. Do what you want. Oh shoot, she a ghost. Yeah. I mean, from like a casual viewer, it definitely looks like Zelda just died. Which I think that's what Nintendo was going for. They wanted it to be a surprise later when Zelda's like not dead. But yeah, I always thought it was cool. And then I've always thought it was interesting that there's the theory later that because Zelda gave some of her essence to Midna, she becomes like a being of light and therefore can no longer survive in the Twilight. And so at the end of the game, when she leaves, it's like, oh shoot, she's dying. I don't know enough about Twilight Princess to say if that like makes sense or not, but it's a neat little theory, little micro theory for us. There we go. That's the barrier skip we were talking about. Zant found out we were in there, and he's like, bruh. He's like, get out of here. Can't have people just walking around. Yeah. Honestly, if it had not been explained to me, I never would have put it together. All right. Next up, we're gonna get the Master Sword. I have no idea when I'm gonna stream again. I definitely don't have a schedule, so I'll just jump scare y'all. But yeah, thanks for joining in the stream